guys, welcome to another episode of the Beyond the Trades talk show where we look at what happens in the lives of contractors outside of the business. What happens beyond the trades, beyond the skills. As usual, I am your girl, Amelia Smith, and every single week I have the pleasure of sitting down with some fabulous people, some extraordinary people who are kicking butt out there, doing their thing, making impacts, not just in their homes, but in their communities, and of course, by extension, in the world. Today, I have with me Jacob Bolton. He is based out of Texas, and he's the owner of Bolton Heating and Air. And he's been doing that for 8 years. Guys, he is married, has two beautiful children, and this guy is the master of fishing. Like, y'all, we're going to talk about that in just a second, but help me welcome Jacob.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. Yeah, it's so good to have you this morning. So, listen, I see that big old fish that you have that you caught. What kind of fish is that?
That was Marlin.
Wow, it was
Yes.
huge. How much did it weigh?
It was a little over 180 pounds.
Seriously?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. I've never seen somebody catch a fish that big, and it was huge,
Oh yeah.
man.
That was
And that was your wife who was fishing with you?
yes, ma'am. She caught
Oh
one
my
as
gosh,
well.
it was that big as well, or a little bit smaller?
Hers was probably close to the same size. We just weren't able to boat it because of the fishing line got tangled in the tail and they didn't want
Okay.
to risk killing the fish, so they cut the line to release it back into the water.
Oh man, but still, you still got a big one.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It was a great experience.
Yeah. So tell me, Jacob, how it is that you even got into HVAC?
Well, it all started. I started my first business in 2006 when I was 18. It was J&J Make Ready. And whenever the recession happened in 2008, my business, it just pretty much came to a complete stop.
Oh
Um,
no.
and so at that point, I just started thinking, and I had to figure out something that I could do that, could was recession proof, pandemic proof, something that is always going to be needed in the state of Texas. So I started thinking and doing research, and I'm somebody that likes to work with their hands, and so that's when I started getting and reading into going to school for HVAC. And then I found a school which was Lincoln Tech, a trade school in Grand Prairie, and I went there and just got more information about the school and how long it was and the cost. And a week later, I'm signed up and I moved me and my family out to Arlington area so I could attend the school, which was a 12-month program.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what kind of led me to the HVAC industry.
Wow, that's awesome. I love it. Action taker.
Oh yes,
You
ma'am.
know, get up and get it done. So, what were some of the biggest challenges that you incurred when you just got started out with the business?
It was just, I was wearing every hat in the business, from actually doing the work in the field, running service calls, doing installations, doing my accounting, my books, invoicing. I was pretty much doing everything, and it was just me in a truck. And then from time to time, I would just find guys that were willing to help me as I started to grow and get into the business on my own. Um,
Wow, that's amazing.
so
But
and
usually that's what people say, just wearing all the different hats. It's a challenge because you still have a family, you still got to be a husband, you still have to show show up at home, but then showing up in so many different capacities in a business, it's challenging. So apart from finding those guys to kind of help you to grow the business, is there anything else that you could say contributed to you overcoming those challenges?
It was just me being persistent, never giving up, and always, just putting in the work day in and day out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um,
Thank you so much. All
yes.
right. And I know that you're a believer in God. How do you think your belief in God has shaped, you going through those challenges even today, and the decision making that you've had to do over the years?
Just believing in God and having faith that everything will work out, and just trusting the process. I've always said, a wise man told me it's not.
All right, so you were telling me about trusting the process.
Yes, ma'am. Just trusting the process and having faith. And just believing that everything's going to work out, and nothing just happens overnight. It's going to take time. um it's yeah, it's just not something that happens overnight. You got to put in the work and the effort day in and day out. With owning a business, especially when you're first starting out, you got to give every bit of your time to it to really make it grow and try to get to where you're trying to get to in the business and in life.
Yeah. I so agree with what you just said about trusting in the process, because especially in those beginning years, it's hard. It's a lot of work, like you said. You got to put in the time too, and because of all of the commitment that's required, a lot of people who start, they end up falling out because they don't trust the process, or they're not persistent enough to keep going. So I'm
Yes,
so happy that you were able to overcome those challenges, because it's only a few people who overcome it and keep going. So
yes,
that's
ma'am.
awesome. Very excited for you. So how do you like? I know the beginning straight stages were a challenge, but as it relates to now that you're over those years, you're going for a little bit, how do you balance the business with, your wife and your children? How does that work for you right now?
Well, now I try to have a cutoff time every day, that to where I leave the office and I try to leave work at the office. And, once I get home, I do my best to leave the phone away, and just focus on being at home and being present for my wife and kids. Sometimes, there is times where I go home and then I end up finding myself back working again on the computer, or doing estimates, or, general contractors or customers are reaching out. So I just try really hard to have that cutoff time, where once I leave the office, that's it.
That's it.
It
Yeah.
could wait till the following day.
And it's hard. It's
Oh
hard to
yeah,
turn your mind off. Like
it's
even me, like
extremely.
I could get up at 2 o'clock just to take a potty break, and my brain's going like what it is that I want to do. All the ideas keep coming. It's like it doesn't shut off. So I get it. You leave work, but it's like you don't leave. So what you said about always wanting to be present, that speaks to me, because there's a difference between being somewhere physically and actually being present, to enjoy the moment, to savor it, to cherish it, to experience.
Yes, ma'am.
So I really love that.
Yes, ma'am. It's
So go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's really difficult, and I've been learning, and it's something I continue to struggle with, and but like I said, I try to do my absolute best, and I just hope, my girls and my wife see, what my end goal is and what I'm trying to accomplish. And for the most part they understand, but they also, they need my attention as well.
Yeah, and that's understandable. That's understandable, especially your wife,
Oh,
coming from a wife.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
But
ma'am.
okay,
And
so
other
with the
times,
demands,
oh, sorry.
it's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say other times I try to, even if I have to wake up at 5 in the morning or wait till everybody's asleep, I'll find myself sometimes going in my office at my home and working late at night, once everybody's in bed.
Yeah,
Um, so that's kind of what I try to do, just to make everything work and, be present for my family.
yeah, that's awesome. So, with all the busy stuff that you have going on, how do you even find time to? Well, we know that you don't always go to bed on time, but
Yes.
how do you find time to even try to stay physically fit? How do you take care of yourself? Like, are you a gym goer? Do you exercise at home? Do you go for walks? What do you do?
No, ma'am. I've been trying to eat right, eat the right
Hmm.
foods, cut out, sodas. Um, I don't exercise like I should. Um,
And that's okay. Listen, it's not for everybody. That's fine. I don't
yes,
want you to feel like just because I asked about it, it's something that you have to do.
yeah, I'm just working on now, just, trying to eat right, not eating junk food and staying away from sodas.
Yeah, and that's an excellent start because, to be honest, 80% of it happens in the kitchen.
Oh yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what's next for you in the business? Like you're already established to a certain point. You have a team going on. You already have a kind of a process with what you're doing at home to make your family happy at home. What's next for you in the business? Like what's the next thing that if you could wave a wand or if you could snap your fingers, what's the one thing that you would love to see happen right now in the business?
I would love to get a few more people in place that have, a good amount of experience in this business to help try to take over certain aspects of the business and help me run it efficiently and just continue to provide, the kind of customer service that we're known for providing. So that's what I'm seeing is just trying to get the right people in place as far as, managing the business and the office side of things.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like we want to clone ourselves.
Yes, and it's been very hard, especially just starting as, just one man in a truck starting out. It's been very difficult to let go of things and let other people take over different parts of the business and trusting that they're going to represent the brand, um,
Hmm.
and as I would. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I understand because you've already like when it's just you've already presented yourself to customers the way you want to be presented to them. And now to have people who may not necessarily share your beliefs go against that doesn't sit well with you as an owner. So I totally get it. But I also understand, that desire of wanting to step away for a little bit, maybe to have more time with family, maybe to do more things that you love to do.
Yes.
I totally get that. So, if you had one thing that you would say to somebody who is just starting out, what would you say to them
I would
that
tell
you
them
wish you knew? If it's something that you wish you knew, what would you say to them?
if there's something I wish I knew. Um, I would say, you just got to stay focused and stay on the course at hand and don't steer from it and just, you know, keep keep going with the process that you have in place. Don't ever give up, and then always constantly trying to learn and evolve in the business. It can be challenging at times, especially in the summer with the heat. You got to be mentally strong to be able to do some of this work because it can be very challenging, especially when you're up in the attic and it's 140 degrees.
Yes.
So I would tell them, first you need to be mentally strong, and then you got to be 100% committed to this trade.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your insights and thank you so much for sharing your stories, Jacob. How can people find you? Like, let's say they're in the Texas area, they want somebody to take a look at their HVAC system. How can people find you?
They can call our office phone number. They can also visit our website at boltonac.com. We have a tab on there for scheduling. Um, they can also find us on Google. We're on Google. We have really good reviews. Um, but that would be the best ways to find us, and also on Facebook. We get a lot of business through Facebook marketing and like
Mhm.
Instagram. So those are typically the best ways to find us here locally and across DFW.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, that's it for today, folks. If you would like to be featured as one of our guests on the Beyond the Trades talk show, reach out to me. Send me a DM on Facebook or go ahead and click that contact us button on the Beyond the Trades talk show page on Facebook, and you'll be connected directly to us. Thank you so